Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fauzi. Allow me to present my paper with the title Significant Role of Economic Growth in Alleviating Poverty. This paper presenting for the first ParisVanJava International Seminar on Health, Economics, Social Science, and Humanities. Okay, this paper consists of 5 chapters: background, methods, result, discussion, and conclusion. For the introduction, this study have the background about the development performance. The development performance of a country can be measured by several key indicators such as economic growth, and then inflation, unemployment rates, human development index, percentage of poor people, and so on. Economic growth can be said to be of equal quality if it is able to have a positive impact on various development indicators. One problem that is often become the goal of development is poverty alleviation. Poverty is a social problem that is interrelated with many factors that influence it. As one of the metropolitan cities in West Java province, Cirebon City also experienced such poverty. The influence of education, access of ownership, and access to health facilities factors are the main problem that exacerbates the problem of poverty in urban areas. Based on this study seeks to determine of the effect for the macro development indicators variable on poverty level. And then for the methods, this study used the quantitative approach through secondary data. The variable of this study were economic growth, or EG, and then inflation, INF, and then population growth, and poverty level, also open unemployment rates, and human development index. For the analysis tool, the study used the multiple regression analysis with PET analysis. Based on the model, we know that economic growth, inflation, population growth as the independent variable, also open employment rate, and human development index for the independent variables, and the poverty level for the dependent variable. Based on that, there are 3 structural equations can be formulated as follows. For the results show that economic growth variable had a significant effect on poverty level, but had no significant effect on open unemployment rates and human development index. That's the T-count value of economic growth variable towards the poverty level was minus 2.8698, or higher than T-table value of 2.106, while the T-count values of open unemployment rates and human development index variables were 0.237 and 0.8081 respectively, or lower than the T-table value of 2.160. And then the variable of inflation had no significant effect on poverty level, open unemployment rate, and human development index. The population growth variable had no significant effect either on poverty level, open unemployment rate, and human development index. The T-count values of minus 0.726, minus 0.83 and 2, Also, the open employment rate variable had no significant effect for the poverty level, with a T-count value of 1.721 or lower than T-table of 2.16. It can be concluded that open unemployment rate had no significant effect on poverty level. And then for the Human Development Index variable, so that the count of 1.255 or lower than the table of 2.160. This indicates that Human Development Index variable had no significant effect for poverty level. And then for the Sobel test result, showed that open employment rate and Human Development Index were not variables that influence economic growth. However, open unemployment rate and Human Development Index became a variable that influenced the inflation level. The same table also explained that open unemployment rate and Human Development Index had no effect on population growth. And then the discussion, the first is about the effect of economic growth on poverty level, that showed the economic growth variable had a significant effect on poverty level. However, the open unemployment rate and Human Development Index variable were not intervening variable for the economic growth. Therefore, economic growth variable only had a direct effect on poverty level and had no indirect effect on open unemployment rate and Human Development Index. There was a very strong correlation between economic growth and poverty level. In the early stage of the development process, the poverty level has a tendency to increase, and when entering the final stage of development, it will gradually decrease in according with the ongoing stage of development. For the discussion, for the second, about the effect of inflation on poverty level, although for the inflation variable had no significant effect on poverty level, but in table 2, it was explained that inflation variable had an indirect effect on poverty level through open unemployment rates and Human Development Index variables. And so the variable intervening show that the coefficient of positive indirect effect inflation through for the open unemployment rates indicate that increases of inflation rate, which in turn will cause the open employment rate to increase, so that the poverty level will also increase. The coefficient on the negative indirect effect of inflation through Human Development Index indicated that increases inflation rate causes the Human Development Index to decrease. And then for the third discussion is about effect of population growth on poverty level. Based on the analysis, show that population growth variable is had no effect on poverty level, either the direct or indirectly. This explains that the open unemployment rate and Human Development Index variables were not intervening variables. The population growth in the context of region economics development is a very fundamental problem, because the uncontrolled population growth can result in not achieving the objective of economic development, namely the welfare of the people and poverty alleviation. Population structure is also very important for the economic growth. Meanwhile, age structure of population is largely determined by the stage of country in the demographic transition. In the simple logic, it can be explained that the more productive age population in a country, the more the country will experience a decrease in poverty. That is a contrast to previous study that population growth variable is in this study had no effect on poverty level. So the population growth was evidence as not having effect on poverty in the study, with its economic base in the secondary and tertiary sectors. For the Cirebon City needs educated and skilled residents. For the conclusion, one is economic growth variable had a significant effect on poverty level, but had no significant effect on open unemployment rates and human development index. The second is inflation had no significant effect on poverty level, open unemployment rates, and human development index. The third is population growth variable had no significant effect either on poverty level, open unemployment rates, and human development index. For the fourth, open unemployment rate had no significant effect for the poverty level, and the fifth, human development index had no significant effect on poverty level. I think enough for the presentation. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.